All right, gentlemen, let's dive into some Coby White talk. Coby coming back in to the Bulls fold on a new 3-year contract. Happy to have him back. Bulls fans still wondering what he is going to be on this team for a guy whose role has fluctuated a lot since getting drafted 7th overall by the Bulls several years ago. Starter, bench guy, back to starter, back to bench guy. We'll see where he comes out in Billy Donovan's rotation to start the season. Gentlemen, what do you want to see specifically from Coby White this year now that he's back with the Bulls on a fresh deal? Dave.
Well, I wanted to say BMF and Coby White Part 2 was what I wanted to say on this
wasn't
one.
it?
Yeah, because that's what I had him at last year, and he definitely did that. And I just wanted to see more of it. But what I do want to see from Coby is I would like to see his assist numbers go up a little bit. Now, Coby White, is not known, for his passing, not known for getting those assist numbers like that. If you go look at his numbers, he's averaged 2.7, 4.8, 2.9, and 2.8. That's what about he's averaged. Obviously, when he averaged that 4.8 was when he was getting the starts, was when he was playing more minutes. And that's why those numbers were up. That's also when he averaged the most points he's ever averaged before. That's also when his turnovers were at their highest as well. So all those numbers went up because he was starting like that and playing about 30, 31 minutes a game. But Coby, even in the minutes that he's playing, can still get close to 3 assists a game. So I feel it's reasonable that Coby could average 3.2 assists per game for the Chicago Bulls this season. I feel like he flirts with that 3 a lot. Dealing with the 2.8, the 2.9, he flirts with it a lot. I think he's going to get opportunities, especially in that fourth quarter. He might start. We don't know, how that's going to work out. We'll see how that goes. But I still think he's going to get a lot of opportunity in a very guard-heavy offense that's going to be run by Billy Donovan to have, opportunities to find players on the floor. He's really slowed his game down. We've pointed that out before, how he slows his game down, especially in the half court now, how he'll bring the ball out and set up the offense and make the right read. We've seen him do that plenty of times. I would like to see it lead to more assists for him, which means more baskets for the big guys. I'm specifically talking about big guys like Vooch and guys like Andre Drummond and guys like Patrick Williams being the benefactors of these assists from Coby White. So that's what I'd like to see from him. I like to see those numbers go up and I think it would just show people the vision that he does have that I don't think is really talked about a lot because his scoring is awesome and you want him to be that guy. But I do think he has really solid vision and he'll try to get a little flashy with it sometimes, making a couple of those passes that he likes to throw. But I think when they're out in transition and, making those runs, when they're getting those steals with him and Alex Caruso and whoever else is going to be out there with that death by a thousand cuts defense that I think they'll be running, I think he has a chance to get a little uptick in his assists, man. And that's what I'd like to see him improve this year.
You will, but I think that's doable. As Dave's talking about those assist numbers, basically identical last season and the season prior. You mentioned 2.9, 2.8 per game, but his minutes dropped substantially from 2 seasons ago to last season. His assist percentage actually went up last season, Will, from 15 to 16.3.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dave, what'd you say, 3.5 or 3?
3.2.
3.2. You might have to up that number, my friend, because in the second half of last season, Coby averaged 4.5 assists per game.
Woo!
He was on fire, and as I was looking through some of the different numbers that I could have chosen from here, like just looking at splits, man, he was outrageously good in the second half of last year. 11.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shooting 49% from the field, 41% on threes, and 100% at the line. Did not miss a free throw in the second half. He had more assists in the second half of the season in 23 games than he did during the first 51 games of the year. So I think Coby really tapped into something, and I think that trust kind of earned him more minutes, and that's where I'm going with this. I'm not picking out any crazy interesting statistic here. I'm just going with minutes per game, and I want to see him at 28. That would be the most that he's played under Billy Donovan, or at least since DeMar has gotten here. Last year, it was only 23.4. The year before that, 27.5. But he earned more minutes in the second part of last year. he only averaged 25.9, so 26 minutes per game in the second half. I think he can replicate that and then some. And I think if he does, those numbers are looking even better than what we're hoping for in terms of 3.2 assists. So Coby, I think, is in for a big year. The other direction I could have gone was field goal percentage. On two-pointers specifically, he was outstanding last year with a career high 44% from the field and 54% on twos, jumped over 5%. I think that's at a really good place. If he can continue with that and continue with that assist rate, like, he's going to earn more minutes. And if he earns more minutes, he's going to earn some starts. And I think the Bulls are going to be better for it. So that's where I'm going. I'm going with the minutes per game. That will kind of be an indicator for me of, is everything else going right? Are the assists there? Is the shooting there? Can he get to the rim at a high level? Can he draw fouls? Can he finish around the rim? If he's getting a lot of minutes per game, that means all those things are going right.
Bingo. I actually thought about going with a minutes per game goal for Coby myself.
It's kind of a dopey number, but
it is. And also some of you might be saying, well, like, that's not really within Kobe's control.
But it is.
The coach decides who gets how many minutes on any given night. But it is in his control if he proves to Billy, prove it, that he deserves those minutes. That is why that goal is totally valid and one that I thought about setting for Coby myself. And I think that's a very solid one, Will. Mine is what you might call a meathead or a meatball goal, a Karen pumpkin spice goal, because it's basic as hell. But I want it and I need it from Coby MFN White. Shoot 40% from three for a whole season, buddy. Please. Please. I beg of you. This team needs it, and you are capable of doing so. We all know that Coby is a pretty streaky shooter. You mentioned his shooting splits in the back half of this past season, Will, and he was lighting it up. If he eliminates some of those months or some of those weeks where he shoots just a gross 23% on a high volume of three-pointers, that season average from behind the arc, he has no reason not to be a 40% three-point shooter in this league. And he hasn't done it. 35%, 36%, 38%, 37% through his first 4 NBA seasons. If Coby eliminates those not, sub-zero, ice-cold Coby in the good way, but ice-cold Coby in the bad way, weeks, you're looking at having a legitimate 40% three-point shooter on your roster, which it desperately needs.
Absolutely. And I think you can put him in that same category with Zach as far as players that could stand to run off some screens a little bit more, get into some more motion and some more movement. One of my favorite things that the Bulls did down the stretch of last season, but also the season before that, and I remember it particularly in the playoff series against the Bucks, was screen and rolls, pick and pops with Coby screening for DeMar, where he would slip out of those and run to the three-point line. And defenses, I think you can run the same thing with Zach, but defenses have a really hard time deciding what to do in those situations because you have a hopefully 40+% three-point shooter sprinting out to the weak side wing, and you have DeMar DeRozan isolating on the strong side. Do you double DeMar and leave Coby open? Do you send help to Coby and let DeMar go one-on-one on a switch? How do you defend that? So I think the Bulls can put those two guys in a lot of actions. I think they can put Zach and Coby in a lot of actions like the Warriors do with Clay and Steph, where they're running split cuts. And it's like, what do we do here? These guys are like lethal shooters. Why aren't we leveraging that into more motion and movement? I think both of those guys are good enough to shoot 40+%. I think they're good enough to shoot 40+% on high volume. And I think if they do that with a lot of motion and like really intentional getting to spots, putting pressure on defenses, making you chase and guard, the Bulls offense is going to be really tough to defend.
Yeah, and I'd want to see it also, Will, with Vooch as well. Because I think when I think of him and Vooch, I immediately go back to that Billy Donovan's first season when they first got Vooch. And I just remember the little chemistry he and Coby had started to develop when Coby was in that starting lineup. And, just little, give him the ball and I'm a, nice little rub screen by Vooch and, hit him with the pass and there it is for the layup. Or nice little give up to Vooch. Vooch makes the moves inside. The double team collapses. He finds Coby in the corner for three. Like, they had really developed a little chemistry that obviously got taken away because Coby, wasn't starting. You got Lonzo Ball on your team. What the hell? So, of course, that's going to change. Now I feel like that's what I really want to see more of, because when the Bulls start running in transition, as Will was just talking about how lethal this offense could be, that's where I think it's going to really be seen as far as that three-point shot for Coby White. When he's coming in transition, because any guard they have in there can get that ball and go. Like, nobody has to wait or find somebody to give the ball to. They can get it and they can go, whether it's Io, whether it's Coby, whether it's Caruso, whether it's Carter, any one of them. They get it, they're gone. We're out. So Coby is definitely going to run to a spot, and find himself maybe in the corner, maybe at the elbow, wherever he wants his shot. He's going to find it there because, Vooch, as Matt always pointed out, is going to come up with that trailing three. So he's going to have these opportunities to do that. And I think that's where you're going to get a good amount of him, in addition to that fourth quarter, where I think he's going to be playing as well. Because in that fourth quarter, we've seen him be absolutely lethal for the Chicago Bulls from the three-point line in that fourth quarter. We've seen it. And I think that will continue, man. So, yeah, like the fact he hasn't shot 40%, I was like, wow. Like when Matt said it, I was a little surprised. Like, really? He's never touched it before? That's interesting. That's very interesting to me, because I feel like that's something that we know him for, is being that kind of shooter. So you just assume that a guy like that has touched 40% before. So yeah, I think now is definitely a good year to prove that you are that dude and put that fear in these other teams from that three-point arc.
That's why I think some might be surprised by it, because we've seen Coby have months where he shoots damn near 45% from downtown. He'll have a string of games where he'll shoot 60% from downtown. And you're like, okay, cool. Yeah. Shoot 40% for a season. You haven't done that yet. It is absolutely within your abilities to do so. And I'm with you, Will. Maybe trying to get him some more actions off the ball as well. Get him coming around some screens for some open looks, catching fire. Drewish in the comments saying, be that flamethrower from beyond the arc. Sports Chicago Style and Damon in the comments both pointing out that whenever Coby seems to have it going, Billy likes to sit him on the bench. I think that might be it.
There's more to it than that.
There's more to it than that, and obviously some recency bias because it's burned into your memories from the Bulls play-in game part 2 loss. Coby was playing pretty well and then got yanked by Billy late in that game as things were falling apart. Oh, well. I think those are all solid goals for young Alex Coby White. I think they're doable. And I think if he achieves those things, just like if Zach achieves those goals that we set for him, it will actually propel the Bulls to being a more competitive team. And they are fair asks, but they certainly won't come easy.